Today's topic is don't bring home stray cats. Don't bring home feral cats. Give a little story, a little backstory into this. And yeah, this is a euphemism for, or a synonym, or whatever we want to call that. I'm a little irritated right now, so my thesaurus in my head isn't clicking as well right now. Anyways, the backstory is that I had custody of my kids. One day, this cat comes around, being all nice and sweet and everything. Kids start petting it and all this and that, and they're, Dad, can we keep the cat? Can we keep the cat? Can we keep the cat? Initially I said no, I don't want it. I didn't want a cat. It's not like I don't like cats. I'm getting on the verge of not liking cats, by the way. But I just didn't want a cat, because, what do you do with a cat? You feed it and it shits, and it comes around and gets petted when it wants to get petted. It doesn't care about when you may want to pet it, right? Anyways, I digress. I finally say, okay, I guess we could have a pet. I'll keep the cat. It seemed nice enough. We kept it around for like a week, and it turns out, this cat's pregnant with 5 kittens. Well, so as soon as those kittens were born, I had that cat fixed. I got rid of like 3 of the kittens. We kept 2 of them. One of them's still with me. One of my cat, Gordon, he disappeared. He was a tomboy or a tomcat. He was a cool cat, and I think somebody killed him. He just disappeared one day, and I have my suspicions on who did, but that's neither here nor there. Anyways, the mama cat. What happens? There's a nice sweet cat all the way up until it had its kittens. And all of a sudden, mama cat is in competition with its kittens. Pretty much tried to starve the kittens out. Would eat like 5 times more food than it needed to. It started shitting all over the fucking house. In the most irritating places. Right in the middle of the hallway, in the middle of the bathtub, in the dryer. So I put up with that for like about 3 days, and I kicked that fucking cat out. And it clawed up my door, the door seal around the door, so it caused damage there trying to get back in, but that cat never came back in my house. And finally, it went away. Lately, my YL's son, he's pretty much homeless right now because he has a failure to fire problem. Instead of doing anything, he chooses to do absolutely nothing. So that's on him. He'll figure it out one of these days. He had a cat, so we decided, we'll take the cat in. It's been about 2 weeks now, maybe, and yeah, he's gonna get a taxidermied cat back. Same fucking shit. And it's almost kind of like he raised this cat because the cat, one of the kittens that we kept, this is the kitten of that cat, or this is the cat. It was the kitten of the cat we kept, right? So it is the granddaughter of the first stray cat. And he's had the cat for, I don't know, a year or 2 now. It's a pretty big cat. And you can tell he hasn't trained it. He hasn't socialized it. Nothing. This cat is still fucking feral. And it's been very disruptive. So, today is pretty much the fucking day that cat's going away, one way or the other. And I'm not going to feel bad about it. It's going to the pound, he's going to come pick it up, or it is just going to find its way, to another house. Short story long, you take in feral cats and they're going to shit all over your house. They're going to eat everything, they're going to make themselves comfortable, they're going to disrupt everything, they're going to piss in your fucking corners, shit in your fucking floor, eat all the goddamn food. And what do you get out of it? A pretty cat? Is it really worth having a pretty cat around with something that serves no purpose and is actually being a disruptive force in your life? I want to mention this because I realized with that first cat that People act the same way, and young men, and I'm sure young women have to deal with the same thing too. I don't know. I just don't know from a perspective of a young woman. But I do know from a young man's perspective, we take in feral cats way too many times. We think they're pretty. We believe they're sad story. It's getting cold outside. They need a place to stay. And the next thing you know, they're fucking shitting on our beds, bringing in other fucking cats, fucking babies into our house, right? And then we are the ones on the hook for fucking taking care of that. Oh, you're not really on the hook. You're shamed into believing that you're supposed to be on the hook. Because like, oh my God, I can't believe you do that to a poor feral cat. And I'm like, but you realize that there's whole colonies of feral cats out there? Whole colonies. They decimate the fucking populations of other species out there. These colonies of feral cats. They've become a real nuisance and a real problem. And that's kind of the same thing as going on right now. Except these feral cats that I'm talking about are the ones that kind of destroy themselves eventually. But they never really find a home, do they? They don't know. They're not socialized into how to be in a unit of people and working together as a team, right? They are very selfish. They'll do whatever the hell they want, and they don't care about anything but right now, what they want right now. These are the same feral cats that you'll go over to their place and you'll see shit in their corners, right? They don't take care of themselves. They don't maintain themselves, and because they don't need to. They're gonna blame that on you. They're gonna blame you for things that you made them do. That even like 5 years before you even met them. See, you did this, and now I had this. Blah blah blah. It's fairy tale land, right? Don't bring home feral cats. Long story short, don't bring home feral cats. And I'm guessing you probably know what I mean. If you don't know what I mean, what I'm saying is that don't bring home these stray girls. Don't bring them home. At best, you bring them to the porch and you pet them. Never feed them, because as soon as you feed a feral cat, they never go away. You have to pretty much boot their ass out or fucking carry them to the pound. Chances are these feral cats are going to bring home somebody else's kittens with them, and now you're on the hook for taking care of that shit too. So yeah, here in this regard, I think women probably do, especially nowadays, because there's a lot of listless, kind of unmotivated men out there. And the owner of this feral cat that I'm got to get rid of, he's kind of a feral cat himself. I've given him 2 opportunities. For the most part, I've put his ass up for a year, and over the total. And been screwed both times, and it's never happening again. Never happening again. With anybody. I'm never taking in somebody else's problem ever again. And, and I should have known better. I was trying to be nice. I was trying to be helpful. And then the second time around, he had been on his own for a couple of years, but then as soon as he has somebody else taking care of him, what does he fucking do? Absolutely jack fucking shit. Doesn't do a goddamn thing. Sits on his ass, fucking plays Xbox, sleeps all goddamn day. I'm like, what about this whole getting a job thing? It was like, well, I put in an application in someplace. I'm like, no. When you're unemployed and homeless, you need to make that finding a job your full-time job. You've already kind of screwed yourself. But, over the course of like 4.5, 5 months, I think he had like 2 job interviews. And I get 2 job interviews a week, and I don't even apply for places. The people just call me and want to give me job interviews. And and then when I drive around town, and he has no notable skills, and that's a really big thing, especially when he has sat around for months staring at, online consuming, because there for a while I had internet running at the house as well, because I was still going over there renovating, so I use the internet myself. But he consumed like 600 gigs a month of data just by himself. That's he's full-time streaming media, right? There's no other way to do that. Because even in a household with 4 people in it, we consume like half that much. And that's me working from home, people going to class from home, and streaming movies and TV shows or whatnot at night. So one person is streaming twice as much as a family does a month, single-handedly, right? And I would have been fine with that if you're, YouTube, for instance, this platform that this video is going to be uploaded on, is a great learning resource. You want to learn a new skill? Well, my God, there's people teaching skills all day long. There are some of these places like Code Academy and whatnot. They put on they're 5-hour videos. They're like, here's everything you need to know. Here's an entire course of material on this one topic. And you can consume that. And can you sit through it and learn everything in 5 hours? No, that's probably about a month's worth of stuff. But a month of stuff in that 5-hour video to go back and get your free resources and learn from and so forth could have made him marketable, doing something other than, basic jobs that anybody else. He's competing with everybody else that has no skill sets. And then nowadays, there seems to be a lot of those people. Maybe it's always been that way. I don't know. I've never, I've always had some sort of skill set, So even if it was just driving, I was a driver for a while before I joined the Army, But I don't know. There's nothing there. So I can definitely see where girls could definitely take in some of these feral cats too. They buy into this at store, and then they got this lump on a log, laying on their couch, watching videos at 3 a.m. and sleeping all day. And you're like, when are you going to get a goddamn job? When are you going to do this? Basic adult responsibilities. Doesn't have to be the job that makes me happy, because what's really going to make you happy? Food in your belly, roof over your head, clean water to wash your ass off in. But that's true happiness. Not smelling like an asshole and not starving to death. That's true happiness. So, anyways, don't bring in feral cats. They just shit on your floor, eat all your food, and you don't get anything out of it except frustrated and angry. You have a lot of contempt for these feral cats. And then you get as old as I do, and you still kind of make the same mistakes because you're still trying to be nice to people because they're family and whatnot. And you're like, well, maybe they've changed. No, they haven't changed. They haven't changed a fucking bit. And now they have a pet that they've trained to be feral as well. Even though this cat has lived indoors for its entire life, had never gone outside before it met me, it's still feral. Does whatever it wants, has no discipline, no respect for anything. And it thinks it's the alpha. Now, it doesn't think it's the alpha anymore. It's gotten a boot up its ass quite literally a few times now the past week or so. Because it's a little shithead. But this goes for people too. Don't bring home feral cats. Just avoid them, right? At best, they might be a fun night, right? Because they're going to try to convince you, though. Like, oh, look at me, I'm cute, I'm spunky, I'm fun, I'm someone intelligent, I can keep on good, but all you're seeing really is this peacock feathers out there trying to impress you. Like, look at me, look at me, look at me, look how pretty I am. And you're going to buy into it. So you realize that right off the bat, right? I don't know if I've talked about it in a video. It's something I've talked about with kids, is that trust and respect are earned by everybody. You need to earn people's trust, you need to earn people's respect, and they need to earn yours. You never give trust and respect away. Everybody starts off at zero balance, right? And for the trust aspect, there's little ways that somebody can earn your trust automatically, right? You go over to their place the first time and their place is pretty clean, right? Well, you can give them that 0.5% in trust because you're like, okay, well, at least they take care of themselves. There's not rotting food in the sink, right? There's not clothes and trash thrown all over the place. But if you go over to their place and there's a sink full of dirty dishes, it's rotting food in the bottom of the sink, and the place is a carpet bombed with clusterfuck, well, then you need to put them in the negative amount of trust. You can't trust them to take care of themselves when they're left alone, right? So they're going to bring that home with you, if you bring them into your house, right? Same thing with like their car. Do they maintain their car, or do they just drive it into the ground? Well, if they drive their equipment into the ground that they're spending their money on, what do you think they're going to do to your equipment, right? They're going to drive it into the ground, and they didn't even spend their money on it because they can't respect the stuff they have. How many cell phones have they gone through in the past year? I mean, crying out loud, this cell phone here, I go through, I've been on 5 cell phones, I think, and 14 when I moved here, 2003, 2004. So since 2005, I've been through 5 phones, 15 years. So it was an average of One phone every 3 years. And it's usually because they patch them out of existence, right? They throw so many patches up these phones that then all of a sudden they just crash and stop working. And I think they do that on purpose. And I probably just need to go back to a flip phone. I just like the mapping features, but I've also got handheld GPSs, so I can mitigate that. But, you know, have they gone through $3,000 phones over the past year? You know, like, well, you know, I don't know, it's just accident, and it's always somebody else's fault. Somebody else knocked my phone off the table. Somebody else ran over or stepped on my phone. Somebody else. And it's like, well, why can't you just put your shit in your pocket so that none of that ever happens, right? Do accidents happen? Yeah, absolutely. I've dropped this phone like 15 times, though. Still has, you know, no broken screen. Never had a broken screen. It's dirty. It's got drywall mud caked into it and all that stuff, but, you know, still works just fine. You know why? Because I put a little rubber case around it. Just a little rubber case. Because I want to protect that investment. Even though it wasn't a $1,000 phone, it was probably a $350 phone at most. I want to protect that investment, you know. Are these feral cats bringing, you know, are they protecting their investments? So, long story short, how do you determine whether or not somebody's a feral cat or not? It takes time, but you can automatically kind of assume things right off the bat. You know, look at their car, or do they even have a car? Look at their job. Look at their job history. Do they even have a job? You know, do they have? And when I say look at their job, are they working part-time jobs that anybody in the world can do, and then that's their entire history, and then they have like huge breaks in time, like somebody else accepted them into their house and like, okay, I quit, you know, now you take care of me, and then so eventually that guy's like, fuck you, get out. They get another part-time job. Or, you know, do they have a resume of success? I don't know who that is. I'm gonna pause. All right, I think that was, I don't know, it's a local call, but I've been getting a ton of calls lately. I think there's a lot of political calls, you know, hey, vote for me, vote for me. Anyways, and if not, they'll leave a voicemail. And anyways, I'll probably edit that part out, maybe not. You know, so do you look in a car and it's trashed, or do they even have a car, right? You go to their place, is their place trashed? Does their place look like they just moved in and they've got like, you know, a milk crate for a table and a mattress on the floor, you know, and maybe it's a legitimate reason. I've known guys that have had to travel for work, and they'll rent a little tiny apartment just to be closer to work, and then on the weekends they'll drive home. And what do you think they have in there? They buy a little folding table, a little folding chair, a couple cheap plastic Walmart dishes, and an air mattress, right? And some hangers, and maybe some towel or two, and that's all they have. That's all they have. Okay, so if that's the case, you know, take it into context, of course. You know, also take it into context. Why is he leaving every weekend? Is he going back to a family, or is she going back to a family? Maybe. So don't get involved in that. That will always bite you in the ass. It'll bite somebody in the ass, and it's just, why create future stress for yourself, all right? And no, I don't have experience in that, but I've seen it plenty of times in the Army. So that's, you know, how do you determine if somebody's feral or not? They're going to let you know they're feral pretty often. They're gonna first love bomb you, try to get you to take them in as soon as possible. I fell prey to that, you know, 15 years ago. And, you know, and because I just didn't know better, you know. I did know better, but I didn't know better, right? I did know better, but I gave my trust away. That's the problem. This person, she didn't earn my trust. I just gave it away. And, of course, when she gets something that she doesn't earn, she's going to wipe her ass with it, right? She doesn't care. She didn't earn it. She just got no skin in the game. So, make them earn skin in the game, right? Don't ever take somebody in automatically. Like, they're going to have a sad story. Their ex-boyfriend or ex-husband's always going to be an asshole. You know, 100% of the time, they're always an asshole. It's never on them. He's such an asshole, you know, and that's a universal thing right there. You know, do they keep themselves clean? Can they take care of themselves? I was talking about the resume thing, right? Have they progressed in life, right? You know, like my current YL, she, you she's always had a career. You know, she was a paramedic before I met her, and then she went from being a paramedic to a nurse, and she's continuously improved her skills on being a nurse and so forth. And she takes care of herself. If she was left alone by herself right now, she could take care of herself. Not a problem. You know, we're not together because she needed somebody to take care of her. She didn't. We're not together because I felt all simpy about it. And I'm like, oh, you poor, poor thing. No, no, no. That's exactly the opposite of what I wanted. I wanted a woman to know that she's a partner in my life and not a fucking child, right? I don't need another dependent to take care of, right? And that's the way you should grade people, man or woman, right? I don't care who you're seeing. I don't care about anything. The other person should be able to take care of themselves. So that's one way you can grade feral cats. It's not a guarantee because there's plenty of feral cats out there that are also chameleons. You know, that might be a topic we get into later. Just the whole narcissism thing, what real narcissism is. I've had to study that for years. And, you know, so, but then if you're dealing with that, you're dealing with vampires, not feral cats. So, and vampires, you know, they suck the blood out of you, right? Try to turn you into a little zombie. Try turning you into a vampire yourself. Anyways, don't bring home feral cats. That's all I got to say about that. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave comments down below. If you got, you know, whatever, you know, you want clarification or me to expound on something, you know, or you're a feral cat and you think that you have the right to crash somebody's party because it's your right, go ahead and leave comments below. If they're respectful and well thought out comments, I will respond. If they're just insulting comments, well, you know, waste your time. I'm not going to waste mine. Have a nice day, gentlemen and ladies, if you're listening. And until next time.